It was a patent medicine available to the public in the early 1830s, Dr. Miles' compound. What was this medicine supposed to have cured? Well, according to Dr. Miles, just about everything. Now, wait a minute. Only a year or two before, maybe 3, there was a substance many physicians considered poisonous. And this was the same substance, essentially, that Dr. Miles was using in his compound. Yesterday's poison, tomorrow's panacea. History recalls virtually nothing about Dr. Miles personally. He may or may not have been an accredited medical doctor. He would not have to have been, of course, to get his name on a bottle. So what in the world was this stuff he was peddling? Life or death or something in between? Well, as it turned out, Dr. Miles was a medical pioneer. He had taken something which not long before had been considered poisonous. He had put that something in a bottle. He had sold it as a medicine, and what do you know, the medical community agreed that Dr. Miles' compound was indeed good for you. There was a Dr. Bennett, for example, professor of midwifery, hygiene, and acclimatement at Lake Earl Medical College. This Dr. Bennett was most enthusiastic about Dr. Miles' potion. It was among the most powerful deobstruents available, Bennett said. For certain liver disorders, it was perhaps the most effective and the least harmful agent known. It would prevent bilious attacks. It was a remedy for dyspepsia. It would counteract diarrhea. And here was the boldest of Dr. Bennett's claims. It made people less susceptible to cholera. By the mid-1830s, these medical indications were widely accepted among physicians, and the mysterious Dr. Miles, a man we shall never know, was one of the first to recognize the beneficial effects of this substance, this something once labeled deadly. Dr. Miles' compound went on the market in the early 1830s. 60 years would pass before anybody would suspect the existence of those chemical phenomena that we now call vitamins. In fact, the term vitamin had not been conceived until 1911, so unwittingly Dr. Miles was way ahead of his time. We now know that just 1 tablespoon of his compound, only 17 grams, included 238 international units of vitamin A and substantial amounts of thiamine and riboflavin and niacin. And those, of course, are vitamins B1, B2, and B3, and vitamin C, and iron, and almost 4 milligrams of calcium, and 4 milligrams of magnesium, almost 9 milligrams of phosphorus, and 62 milligrams of potassium, and 300 milligrams of protein, all in 1 tablespoon. Dr. Miles' compound. Whatever diseases it did or did not cure, wow, it was a multiple vitamin mineral complex almost a century before anybody had ever dreamed of such a thing. And it was not poison. And it was indeed good for you. And you know, a bottle costs about the same now as it did then. No, the label no longer reads Dr. Miles' compound, extract of tomato. Today we call it ketchup. And now you know the rest of the story.